So with solo leveling, there are SR characters that we need to look into, because at the end of the day, you never know. Some of them might be hidden gems, I like to say, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. I've gone through all of their kits already, and so I've got a brief understanding what each of these characters are bringing to the table. What I will do at the end is, I guess I'll pick maybe 2 or 3 characters which you guys should consider working on, so that way you have options. Of course, SSRs a lot of people are going to be catering to due to the fact that of the limitations of resources and gold, which I've already done a video on, of course. But you never know, at times SRs might come in handy in terms of filling in slots or maybe helping you out depending on their attributes. As of right now, I'm in need of a light tank, and so I am making good use of working on my SRs. So through that, we're going to go through the SRs. Let's take a look on what they bring to the table. Now, each SR has character does have an SSR weapon, which I wasn't aware of, but right now we don't know how to get them, and I don't think there's any way to get them. There's no crafting, there's no summoning, so I'm just going to leave them be for right now, and we're just going to focus on the kit itself. So Namyoung, of course, I've gone over how she's working. So she is a range, she's an archer, of course, and the basis of this character, which is, of course, she does have break on her skill. So obviously the core attack is light break, and then going furthermore on, her first basic skill has medium break, and then her second basic skill has heavy break, which is beautiful. Support has medium break on the QTE, and so a good little break unit, we'll say. Obviously applying the water damage, she is scaling off her max HP in terms of damage. The key seller for this character is she is consistently applying freeze. So her first basic skill applies freeze, her support skill applies freeze, her QTE skill applies freeze, and then her ultimate also applies freeze. Basically interrupts the enemy to the point where they can't move. If you've got Jin Woo's book, that basically does the same thing in terms of kind of freezing the enemy, and then at that point you just kind of bundle on. So having that consistency of being able to interrupt the enemy itself, and again, this will affect non-bosses, bosses. I'm not too sure about world bosses, it doesn't state it, so I assume it does count towards world bosses. So with that, we could see the usage from her in terms of being that hindering type of unit, as well as giving us that little quick break. In terms of her passive, it increases damage dealt to frozen targets by 20%, so again, that falls in line with her freezing the enemy, and then if you want to use her, you can do so, or you can probably just quickly switch out and get quick damage off in terms of you've only got 2 seconds to make it count. Furthermore, I don't think, yeah, so if you max her out, nothing, there's no advantage play in terms of getting any percentage up and whatnot. She's just a full-on unit that applies range freeze, that's it. Obviously, going into dupes, the first dupe is very handy in terms of giving her effectiveness on break increases by 20%. HP increase, so that's pretty nice. Increases damage of lightning freezing arrow by 80%, so a bit of a damage buff right there. Increases the explosion range of the K63 ice grenade, icy step and tip of the iceberg, so it's going to be her skills, yep, icy step, and then it's going to be the core attack. And then if I go back over here, the freeze duration of the grenade, tip of the iceberg, and light freezing arrow increases to 3 seconds. So she's an SR if you get lucky with RNG, of course, because as of right now she is a summonable character. That's in terms of getting that extra second. That, I mean, personally, I would say that's pretty huge, because of course she's got 4 means of freezing enemies. Yeah, 4 means. So that's pretty insane. So a break unit with freezing interruption. Pretty solid on that part. So moving along to Park Jim-shik, of course. So very self-explanatory with this one. He is just a wind attacker. Fairly simple. If that's something that you're needing and, well, in need of, should I say, then yeah, he's an option. Although there's not much being added to the table in terms of him just kind of doing damage, of course. So yeah, the skills are just very bland in terms of nothing being added other than damage, of course. It only switches up from the passive, so when spinning strike, downward strike, or charge attack are used, applies the father of 2 effects. So if the user's HP is 30% or less, applies the father determination effect. So father of 2 increases the user's defense by 4%, stacks up to 10%. Sorry, 10 times, sorry, so that's 40% you can get in defense. This one for 30 seconds. I thought this would have been more on the offensiveness rather than defense, but it is what it is. And then the Father of Determination, when the user's HP is below 30%. Spinning Strike can be used infinitely, applies a super armor effect, increases the user's attack speed by 8%, increases the user's defense by 8%, duration for 4 seconds, activates only one time, so this is a one-time deal. That's why I say, with the Father of Two, I think that should have just been more on the offensive, and then, because at the end of the day, the health is going to drop tremendously, and then at that point, just give like a Father of Determination is basically a red button moment to kind of go all out. But either way, defense is there, 40%, can't go wrong with that. So very self-explanatory, very simple, with a wind attacker right there. So we've got Anna right here. We've got ourselves another archer, being a water type unit. So doing water element damage from range. It has break, which is very nice to see. So light break on the core attack. She applies poisonous zones with her last shot with the arrow. What the poisonous zone basically does, just basically does DOT over time base. So that's kind of how that's working. But light break on that one. Second skill has light break once again. No poison zone being applied on that part. Going over to the support skill has a medium break, no poison zone. Heading over to the QTE skill now, light break. And then once again, creates a poison zone when the last shot hits. It's with arrows, of course, so there's that. Heading over to the ultimate right now, creates a large poisonous zone. So, yeah, developers, you might want to fix this. So, again, guys, it's early access, so yeah, there's going to be a few hiccups here and there, so we don't really know the full extent, but we can get a gathering of understanding that it's just going to be damage and then applying poisonous zone. Furthermore, when it comes to the passive now, so when one of Anna's skills hits, it has a 6% chance to inflict corrosive poison, so deals 100 break damage every 3 seconds, which is nice, and then deals damage equal to 30% of attack every 3 seconds, stacks up to 10 times. So again, in terms of the corrosive poison, this can also get added through the poisonous zone that she can apply. So if the enemy's in the poisonous zone, that passive can activate. So it has a 6% chance. I don't know why they say that, because for me it's been very, very consistent. So I'm not too sure what's up with that whole 6%, unless I'm getting really lucky with RNG. But yeah, that's pretty much the poison archer right there, of course. And then of course getting dupes on her does help out in terms of enemies in the poisonous zones will be binded, so kind of immobilizes them. I mean, to be fair, getting that first dupe straight off the bat, solid, very, very solid. Also gives us a break damage increase by 10%, not too bad. Applies enhanced corrosive poison and decreases the target's defense, so 100 break damage every 3 seconds, deals damage equal to 30% of attack for every 3 seconds, and then decreases defense by 1%, stacking up to 10 times for 30 seconds. So if you can just keep them in that pool, and if you can keep creating multiple poisonous zones, which you can in multiple ways, because of course she's got 2 means by the looks of it. Oh, she's also got a QTE, so 3 means of getting those zones going. Yeah, that can really pile on, so that's not too bad in terms of having field control. Increases user's attack by 10%, and then increases poison wave damage by 100%. So yeah, some damage boost going on there. So that's the poison archer right there. Kim Sang-shik. So this character I actually did use from the side missions, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of vibe with him. A wind defender, I would actually class him as a wind attacker, and I'll actually class him over Park, to be honest, being the wind attacker. So anyway, furthermore, going into it, so again, break on light when it comes to the core attack, break light on the first skill. Once again, just again more break light, of course, kind of similar in terms of attacking unit, but also has that break advantage. And then the support skill has heavy break on it, and then the QTE light break, again wind damage always being applied. The ultimate increases damage by 50% when attacking a target whose break gauge is destroyed. Beautiful, so you kind of want to savor that. Now this is where things come into place, because right now it does kind of it's coming across pretty bland, and this is why I'm kind of weird on why he's the defender. Or a tank, should I say. The cooldown of Swift Shock decreases by 1 second, and the core gauge is charged by 50% when Storm Split is used. The cooldown of Storm Split decreases by 1 second, and the core gauge is charged by 50% when Swift Shock is used. So basically, Storm Split and Swift Shock support one another. And then the cooldown of Storm Split and Swift Shock decreases by 1 second when Gale Gouge is used, which is the I thought it was the ultimate, but no, it's the core attack. So all of this is there's like a circular motion going on between these three skills right here. All right, and then furthermore on, if you go into the dupe side of things, when Seung uses Storm Split, Swift Shock, or Gale Gouge, this cooldown reduction effect that changes the cooldown to 2 seconds when the user's Storm Split or Swift Shock is it activates Gale Gouge. So again, it's just a continuous cycle between the three. HP increase, break increase by 20% on the third dupe, defense increase on the fourth dupe, and then on the final dupe, when the user uses Gale Gouge, they recover 60% of MP. So again, it's kind of weird because the way I'm looking at this character, I'm looking at him in a offensive perspective in terms of the consistency of these three attacks just, you know, activating. And so that's kind of why I'm surprised. This should be the tank, this should be the attacker. So maybe that's something that they've kind of messed up on in terms of the icon, so I say. But there you go. Furthermore, going over to Ying, of course. So we got ourselves an assassin character now, a water assassin type character. So kind of works in a different way, of course. So she has these umbral weapons that she places on the ground. So with her core attack, she places one of these weapons. With her first basic skill, she places 2 of these weapons on the ground. She then has a skill that can retrieve the weapon, so the user places 6 of these weapons on the ground, then retrieves them. On the support skill, she then applies poison damage, and then when it comes to the QTE, she places 2 of the weapons on the ground whilst being able to poison the target. And then going into the ultimate, obviously she's doing damage whilst all this is happening. She places 5 of the weapons on the ground, and then going over to the passive to understand on what's actually going on with the whole weapon placing on the ground. The damage of retrieved umbral weapons increases by 30% when Songo uses the retrieve skill on a poison target. So I'm not too sure to what amount you can stack up to, but I'm just going to say 6, since that's the total amount which we've seen in terms of the retrieve skill, saying that this is when she retrieves it. So that's a plus 180% that we're looking at in terms of additional damage being applied, right? So I'm just going to go with that for right now. If it's more, hell yeah. I mean, it's an assassin type character, she's there to do damage. Going off for the first skill, so when she uses retrieve, she creates herself a shield equal to 15% of the user's attack. Very nice, we'll take that. Crit rate and crit damage increase by 5%, beautiful. The effect of Swift Flight changes, so she can now apply 3 of the weapons. Oh, I assume when it says places weapons on the ground, she throws these daggers, and then they just stay on the ground. I think that's what yeah, I think that's what it is. God damn it. And then going furthermore on, increases the attack, and then on the 5th one, when uses Rakshasa, it resets the cooldown of both Swift Flight and Retrieve. Oh, okay, so I guess that's the ultimate. Yeah, so the ultimate, and then it resets the basic skills. That's not too bad. So that's pretty much how our water assassin is working. So yeah, let's head over to our dark tank Huang right here. So let's have a look on what's going on here with the dark unit. So again, core damage giving us that light break right there. Light break once again on the first skill, but this time around he's applying enhance, which gives him an increase on the user's max HP by 30%. The cooldown of scorching shield decreases by 40%, which is the second skill, where he does heavy break. I will admit, because there is a side mission where you can use his character, very good. I'm not even going to cap, especially with the break and the amount that this man can tank from having that enhance. Very freaking good. I think I've got like 3 dupes on him, so that's pretty handy. Going furthermore on with the support skill, so medium break, he also has stun, not too bad on that one. And then on the QTE has light break, and then once again on his ultimate, he kind of leaped towards the enemy, depending on who you're targeting. Damage output isn't exactly the best, I will admit. However, the stun's there, so that will help us out. So a unit that can eat and stun, can't go wrong with that. So that's kind of that. Heading over to the passive now. If the user's HP is 75% or higher, increases skill damage by 16%. Like I said, damage output from him isn't exactly all that, but regardless, we'll take it. I think what it is that it's more for the break. It's more for the break. We'll take it for more for the break. If the user's HP is below 50%, applies Lizard Vitality, so recovers 2.5% of HP every 1 second. Activates 1 per stage. I hate the fact that they've added that, but whatever. It is what it is. I feel like the 1 per stage is unnecessary, but it is what it is. So yeah, bit of HP recovery going on there. So going furthermore on to the dupes, and I think this is where things get a little bit more better for the character. So of course, when the user uses Enhance, resets the cooldown of Scorching Shield. So the consistency of Scorching Shield, it's super effective in terms of the enhancement, as well as the as well as the first skill, which is very nice. Also, while Enhance is active, decreases the cooldown of Scorching Shield by 50%, so that's beautiful. HP increase, we love that since we're scaling off that. Third skill, when the user uses Enhance, applies a shield equal to 20% of their max HP. So I think at the very least, +3 is that sweet spot for Huang, of course. So we're going to go with that. Decreases the cooldown of Mighty Attack by 25%, and then when the user uses Mighty Attack, has a 50% chance to reset the cooldown of Mighty Attack. But yeah, in all fairness, I think I've got my Huang at +3, so I'm in a very comfortable spot. At that point, you're really getting a good work with your Dark tank right there. Joe. Not a fan of this unit, unfortunately. Pretty much just does light range damage. The only additional thing about this character is that if the enemy is burned, then he can do additional damage. So on his second skill right here, 25% extra damage on burning targets. On his support skill, he can actually apply burn, so that's something. I mean, that does help him out in correlation to do more damage, so there's that. QTE also does burn. And then when it comes to the ultimate, it can once again burn. Increases the user's attack when hit by a burn target, so you get a 25% increase. It's on for 10 seconds, and it can be repeated. There is a cooldown of 20 seconds on that skill. So, on that passive. If you get the +1 on him, then pretty much the passive effect applies even if it hits a burning target, so that's not too bad. It's kind of what you want, to be honest, to get that already activated. And then you've got the MP increase of 30%, the MP consumption of light increases by 25%, but its range and damage also increases by 50%. Okay, don't know how I feel about that, but we'll have to see if that damage actually, see if it matters. And then if you completely max it out, then increases the range of radiating beam by 20%, and when the first attack in the combo hits, it stuns the enemy. So not too bad on that part. Now, again, damage output is semi-decent, I would say, but yeah, not a character that I'm a fan of, unfortunately. Seung, woo! Now, obviously we get to use this character at the very beginning, and this man was just, killing everything. But then again, that's the very beginning of the game, so of course he's going to run through them. But a burn attacker obviously does fire element damage, of course. No breaks, unfortunately. On the second basic skill that he on the second skill that he has, there are stages to it for him to do more damage. That's beautiful. Applies burn on that part. It's fairly simplistic on that one. Going over to the support skill, so once again, he can apply burn. However, he does increase damage to non-boss monsters, so that's an extra 10%, which is cool. I'm more for in preference of bosses. Oh, I think, does non-boss also count as elites? Is that a thing? Like the characters that are before the bosses, that are like semi-bosses, does that count as a non-boss monster? Because if that is the case, then okay, fair play, that could come in handy. I class them as elites, but anyway, QTE applies fire element damage as per usual. No burns, but we do get a stun, a cheeky little stun on the QTE skill, so can't go wrong with that. We'll take that. The ultimate, again, if the enemy is burning, then you get an increased damage of 30%, so that's not too bad on the ultimate right there. Heading over to the passive, when Idol Type 4 Red Lotus Flower hits, increases damage of Incinerate by 20% for 10 seconds, stacking 3 times, and charges core gauge by 100%. So that's basically the second skill falling in line with the core attack, which you can utilize because your gauge goes up by 100, right? Yeah, 100%. There you go. So so that combination is guaranteed. And yeah, you can stack it up to 3 times. So that's what, 60%. Cool. Like that. Heading over to the dupe side of things, so the MP consumption increases by 50% when his damage dealt to non-boss monsters increases by 50%, increases the MP by 20%. The range and duration of Hellfire Flame Whirlwind increases by 50%. Wait, which one is... oh yeah, it is that. Oh, it's the support skill. Okay, interesting. Moving along, the damage of Incinerate increases by 20%. Lovely, I like that. Damn, that core damage really is going to be coming out pretty strong in terms of getting to that +4 mark. The user's damage increases by 50% when he uses Incinerate on burning targets. Oh, there you go. Okay, well, there's me talking about increasing the damage on the core, and yeah, they just buff it up even more. Okay, so that's pretty much Seung being the attacking burn character. Alrighty, boys, we're coming to the end now. So we've got Liju here, of course, who I'm pretty sure we all know that she is that healer, and you got to keep in mind that the game also gives out copies of her. I think right now she's at +3 for me. So yeah, that's something to take into consideration. On top of that, she does get stat boost from duping out, so just bear that in mind. So yeah, water damage being dealt, that's absolutely fine. She's scaling off from HP. So this is what I mean about her getting percentages up on her skill. So when it comes to her first basic skill, recovers teams members HP equal to 1.5. As you guys can see, the percentage does go up as you are duping her out. The game does give you dupes, just bear that in mind. Also applies a attack increase effect to team members for a certain period of time. So not only are we getting some healing going on, but also get an attack increase by 3% for 15 seconds, but hey, we'll take what we can get, so happy days. Heading over to the second skill now, once again, instantly recovers HP, equal to 5%, go up to 7.5% of her HP. Team members in the divination circle instantly recover 1%, can max out to 1.5% of her current HP. Moving along to the support skill now, so does water element damage, the user instantly recovers 10.27%. Oh, that's maxed out. There we go. 5% can go to 10.27% of her max HP. The user instantly recovers 200 MP. Team members in a divination circle recover HP equal to 1% to 2.05 of her max HP. So obviously she affects herself to then her team members being affected into the circle. That's the support skill. QTE just doing water element damage. I feel like they could have done more with that. Whatever. And then the ultimate itself. So let's have a look. The entire team's core gauge jumps to 100% charge. Oh, that's not too bad. Oh, we'll take that. So when it comes to the passive, it increases the user and team members' HP by 8%. So if there's any characters that you're building a team that's scaling off HP, that's your healer right there. Heading over to dupes, keep in mind the game does give you dupes of her. So HP recovery rate increased by 20%, fantastic. HP increased by 6%, awesome. And her team, Juhi and her team members recover 400 of their mana when Juhi uses Healing Circle. So that's the Healing Circle. Which one is that one? Wait, huh? Oh, okay, there we go. I can't read today. So that's the second skill right there. So that applies the Divination Circle. Okay, cool. And then let's have a look. It increases the natural MP recovery rate by 50%, and then the Healing Circle activates when Juhi tags out, and its cooldown is reset. Cooldown 35 seconds. Damn, +5 right there is beautiful. Honestly, a fantastic healer, and the fact that we get her at the very beginning and you get copies of her, yeah, as of right now, yeah, I've got a +3 because I just recently, the game just recently gave me a free copy of her as I was doing the challenges, so that's beautiful. Eugen, who is a light tank, another solid unit. Again, another character which the game will give you copies from when it comes to doing challenges and whatnot. I think for right now mine is +2. If you get copies of them through summoning, then even better. So obviously has light break damage on the core attack, light break damage on the first basic skill, has also stun, which is very, very nice, of course. Tank for some reason do deal a good amount of damage, I will admit, but they're more for the break side. So we've got medium break, and we've got a defense increase of 20%. Gotta love that, and that's on for 10 seconds, so we can make good use of Trust Me. Heading over to the support skill now, medium break. Once again, he applies, oh, what's this? When the user attacks hit, it creates a potion. 5% of the user's HP is recovered upon obtaining a potion. So not only are we getting a defense increase for himself, but he also gives himself a little bit of healing. That's from the support skill, as well as the QTE too, because of course he's got light break and recovers 5% of the user's HP. Fantastic. Heading over to the ultimate now. Increases the user's defense by 40% for 15 seconds when using the ultimate, and on top of that, oh no, okay, so I thought there was recovery on the ultimate, but the ultimate just basically does a fair amount of damage, but more importantly, you're giving yourself that great deal amount of defense increase. So you got 40%, and you got 20%, and then you got the healing going on through the QTE and support. Heading over to the passive, when my trust me or I'll protect you hits, they create potions near the user. Potions. Upon obtaining a potion, recover HP equal to 8% of Eugen's max HP. Oh, there it is. There's a cooldown on it for 20 seconds. Not a bad... honestly, for a free character, pretty solid. Let's have a look at what the additional that we're getting. When the user uses Trust Me, creates an aura that deals damage equal to 70% of the defense every second during the duration of Trust Me. But wait a minute. That actually sounds so freaking good. So that's going to be on for 10 seconds. That's actually solid. And then, of course, from the artifacts and whatnot, we just buff up his defense even furthermore. That's okay. I'm up. And you'll be given that, basically, because the game, again, you get copies. HP increase. If only that was defense increase. Oh my god, that would have been beautiful, but we'll take the HP increase. He also has a shield. When the user's Trust Me applies, he creates a shield equal to 20% of the user's max HP. Oh, okay. Well, there goes that. that explains the increase. That's really good. Oh, there's the defense increase, and then applies all effect below when obtaining a potion. Recovers HP equal to 12%. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, yeah, okay. Sorry, yeah. So recovers HP equal to 12% of the max HP. Applies an attack increase effect. Applies a shield. Damn! Yo, a +5 Yunji-Ho Loki is kind of fire right now. I ain't gonna cap right now. Okay, but regardless, at the very least, you will get a +1 from him. So that's really good to kind of see. Okay, so we've got Kang, who I have gone over. He is just a full-on dark assassin character, just kind of there to do damage, basically. There's not really much on the table. He does apply bleed, so that's the other DOT that you are getting with this character. The unfortunate thing is that with the bleed, it doesn't work on world bosses, so when dagger toss, tracking, or assault hits, they inflict bleed on the target. It cannot be applied on world bosses, so that's the only unfortunate thing about that. Furthermore, if we're going into dupes, of course, now, so increase the attack when attacking a bleeding target, so you get a 50% increase if the enemy has bleed on. Attack buff on the +2, and then on the +3, when tracking hits a bleeding target, applies a damage taken increase, so 15% more increase towards the enemy. Yes, I know I've been on for an hour. Wait, oh, god damn it. And then when you use camouflage on a bleeding target, you get an increased damage of 100%, of course. So that's pretty much that one with the Dark Assassin. Not a character which I would say you need to concern yourself with as of right now. Park Hee-jin, of course. So she is the ultimate buffer and I believe a debuff cleanser. Not really much on the table in terms of her skills, unfortunately. It's just there to do damage. Nothing too crazy on that part. It's her support skill where she can apply the debuff removal, so breeze. So yeah, when the skill is used, removes debuffs on the team members. Very nice. More importantly, the breeze is applied, so it increases ultimate skill damage by 15%, and this is on for 20 seconds. QTE, nothing on the table. The windstorm, nothing on the table, unfortunately. So when the user uses airball, wind shear, air cutter, wind vortex, recovers power gauge by 8%, decreases the cooldown of windstorm by 30%, which was windstorm? Ah, the ultimate. Okay, cool. Okay, so now if we head over to the dupes, when Hee-jin uses air cutter, it removes debuffs from her and her party. So that's going to be the second basic skill. Decreases the cooldown of windstorm, which is the ultimate. When Eugen uses airball, wind shear, air cutter, or wind vortex, all team members' power gauge refilled by 10%. And then when it comes to +5, when the battle starts, Eugen's power gauge refills by 100%. So again, once again, the real function of this character realistically is the debuff removal as of right now, and the increase on the ultimate skill damage by 15%. That's basically it. And then lastly, the other light tank, Kim Chul, of course, the one that I did manage to pull recently. And I have used pretty solid in terms of break, I will admit. So light break on the core, light break once again with the shield jump. Obviously we'll see more of shield jump in just a second. Heavy break on the second skill. This can also stun the enemy and applies a defense increase effect, which is by 30% for 10 seconds. Heavy break, stun, and 30% increase. Very good, very good. Heading more into the support skill now. So medium break has an effect which applies to the team members. Impenetrable creates a shield equal to 40% of the user's defense. Solid. Very solid. And then going over, actually that for an SR, that's actually really good. What the hell? QTE light break and applies stun. And then with the ultimate, has a shield zone that he creates. So what the shield zone is that damage taken is decreased by 30%, and it also applies a shield equal to 25% of defense to allies within the zone. That is a hell of a support ultimate right there. Heading over to the passives now. So when shield jump or fierce roar are used, applies impenetrable. Creates a shield equal to 2.5% of the user's defense. And I believe this is just for himself. So if you start going into the dupe side of things, so the effect of shield jump changes. So it can be used up to 2 times. So that's just helping out in the damage side of things, and furthermore in the breaking side of things. Increases defense by 6%. When tagging out, applies the impenetrable effect onto the entire team, so it now creates a shield for the whole team in correlation of the user's defense. So that's beautiful. And then if you +5 it, the defense decrease effect is applied through jump shield, so that's a 16% drop. So not only are we just going to be there for break, but now we can reduce the enemy's defense. So yeah, duping out this character Loki is pretty fire. But as it stands, really good in terms of the breakiness, the stuns, and the shield support. Very good in terms of being a light shield. So if I had to pick 3, my instant #1 choice will be Juhyo, of course. She is 100% going to be the #1 pick to make sure that you work on her, because that's your, outside of your SSR, this is your other healer. And like I said, you do get, I think the game will give you enough to maybe get her to +2 or +3, because I've got mine to +3 and I don't recall ever pulling her. Maybe I did and I can't remember, but as of right now I can get her to +4 or +5, because I know there's another, because continue on with the challenges in the story mode, I know there's another free copy that I can get from her. So I haven't really further looked into it, but maybe I'll be able to max her out. But yeah, just because of, again, the game giving you free copies and her being the only other healer outside the SSR, #1 focus. Do not, yeah, the crucial character. I'm touched that then covers the water typing right there, so that's pretty handy. So the second character, oh, this is going to be a tough one. I think I'm also going to lean more towards the free-to-play friendliness in terms of Eugen, because again, this is another character where you'll get free copies of course, and being light tank, he's actually very solid in terms of the defense increase and the HP recovery that he then applies, of course. Again, as the game does give you copies, I think you can get him to +2 at the very least. Yeah, I think the game in total will give you enough to get the +2 from what I've seen. I'm hoping that the game at least pushes you to +3 in some way, because then that is a very comfortable spot with him to get it to then have that shield with his second basic skill. So just because of how the game is right now and the advantage plays you can get in terms of working on the characters furthermore, getting more on their passives, those 2 characters are, in my opinion, going to be very crucial. So that's giving you a healer, that's giving you a tank. So in terms of going furthermore from that, I mean, to be honest, if you have Kim, cater to him more over Yoon Jin-ho. That's just a personal preference. That's what I'm doing. Just an FYI. I've got my initial copy of him. I'm catering more to this unit in terms of the tank and the supportive defense play for the team itself. And then the final slot, I would probably, so I'm kind of actually tossed between 3 characters: Kang, Kim, and Nam. These are the 3 characters that I'm kind of tossed between. In terms of Kim, of course, the consistency between the 2 basics as well as the core really is fitting in terms of having a attacking, especially covering the wind typing from using this character, and obviously having break too. Very solid. Hwang with his survivability, break once again, very nice. Has stun too, again using this character, a fantastic dark defender. Why is he a defender? Should be an attacker. What's going on? And then Nam himself, which is it? I think it was in the early chapters of the support stages where the range freeze can really come in handy. So I'm kind of torn between these three. Like these three are pretty solid. So I guess it'll come down to preference in terms of the consistency of skill attacks, the tankiness and the rushing break from Huang, and then of course the range freeze from Nam. I think that's kind of way to look at it. So it really is just a preference on what you would want. I think for me, if I was, you know, with the two that I've already picked between the healer and the tank, I think I would either go, yeah, I think I'll leave Nam, and then I think it'll be a toss-up between Huang and Kim. At the very least, the #1 SR unit you should be working on is Juhi. At the very least, that is your only other healer, and yeah, her kit is fantastic, and you get copies of her. So that's the #1 priority for working on SR characters. But Huang himself is actually not too bad after using him, so I'll give him that. But anyway, that is pretty much the SR characters on what each of them are providing to the table, and yeah, which ones you guys should work on and cater to. But as you all are aware, SSRs are a thing, and with resources and golds, make sure you cater to them #1. But if you are lacking and you need some support from SRs, then you have options.